Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Saturday. This is Game Day Live here at Pasta Grill at Enzo's live in Hackettstown, New Jersey. I am your host, Sam Wu, here with Vinny Parisi of Pucks and Pitchforks blog. Sorry for the long delay because when you're munching on this hamburger, this monstrosity of a hamburger, and I've already had one, this is my second one, I've got more food coming out, Vinny. You're hungry because you're hungry for a Devils victory tonight as the Devils take on the San Jose Sharks. Hello, everybody. We are streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch on the Primetime Radio Network. Vinny, what are you eating over there in Chicago?
Yeah, we had some chicken wings for dinner tonight. Really couldn't think of anything that would just fit to eat on a night they play the San Jose Sharks. So I'm glad to see that me and you each picked something completely different. That burger does look divine, I must say. You sent me a picture before we went live. It looked like it had a little avocado on it. That's always nice on a burger. Yeah, hopefully they're able to take care of their business tonight and get a win, because when you're at Enzo's, we know good things happen when you go there.
Well, good things happen. Also, last week we were here before the Devils took on the Pittsburgh Penguins on the road. First road victory, first road game of the season. And we figured, you know what? We are going to probably bring out the magic sauce, the winning sauce. You know what I'm talking about, right, Vinny? What we had last
sometimes
time?
sometimes just routine or tradition is perfect. And, you know, they hit the road. You went to Enzo's. You ate the food there. The Devils beat the Penguins in probably their best game of the season from beginning to end. Then they have two road games.
Look at this burger.
I mean, they don't lose when you eat that. There's just no way.
Yeah, I mean, there's avocado in there. There's meat, beef. We like beef here on the podcast. You got some cheese. You've got some fries. You got some ketchup on the side. But also, I'd like to report about the lump crab cake that I had here last time. You know, our fans must love seafood or something. They're out of lump crab cake or crab cake lump. I don't know what you call it. It's on the menu. Actually, I have a menu right here. It is, what is it called? Yeah, it's the lump crab cake. It's on the appetizers, right? And let me tell you something. Anytime I promote any kind of food at any of these establishments, not only do the Devils win, but the fans just pig out, and now they're out of crab cake here. And that doesn't happen very often.
If I went there and saw that the crab cake was out, I would be a little devastated because, you know, I'm an out-of-towner, and it would bug me to know that my one trip there, they didn't have the crab cake. So hopefully I get lucky with that. But if it means that the other Devils fans out there enjoying their food get to try it, maybe I'm okay with making that sacrifice, because boy, did it look good. I'm not going to lie. We talk about food a fair amount on this show, and so far your recommendations
Emily, right?
have been great.
Emily just came by and brought the secret sauce, the winning sauce that helps the New Jersey Devils win. What is this? It is bolognese with the secret sauce at Enzo's in Hackettstown. It's in Hackettstown or Mansfield. I don't even know. This brought a victory to the New Jersey Devils, our New Jersey Devils last time. Vinny, this is good stuff. It smells great. It looks great. And I don't know if I might have to be rude here and start eating on live air, because that's what I did last time, and we gotta repeat that.
I don't think it's rude at all. Anybody knows I can just continue to run my mouth about the team while you munch on some of that delicious-looking bolognese. I don't think it's a bad idea at all. I think you got to give it a try. Like I said earlier, we talk about food a fair amount on this podcast, so I think that the fact that Enzo's sold out of the crab cake speaks volumes. You speak highly of the catfish over at Taj Lounge, so these are all things I'm going to have to try, and I'm looking forward to it.
Vinny, I got something to ask you. You're Italian, right? You're 100% Italian. We've been over this.
Yep.
I'm of 100% Chinese descent. There's been a controversy over the years about who invented spaghetti. I like to say that Marco Polo ripped us off and brought it back to Italy and then suddenly became spaghetti, pasta, whatever. Do you believe that?
Yeah, so you
I'm
know
just
how
kidding.
like you know how like Buffalo, New York invented the chicken wing or the buffalo wing, if you will,
Yeah.
and
Is that true?
other places around the country have, they'll say they perfected it, but they put their own little twist on it. There are great wings in Chicago. I've had some
Yep.
great wings in Pittsburgh, oddly enough. Great wings in Atlanta, Georgia. I've been to. There's awesome barbecue there in general. So I'm wondering if the whole pasta thing was like, oh, it started in China. I'm sure they invented the noodle. And then I'm thinking that maybe once it got back to Italy, that's when they started just putting the red
It
sauce on it.
all, you know what? You know what? Let me just tell you. It's all good. It all tastes good. It doesn't matter where you are in the
Couldn't
world.
agree
It all
more.
tastes good. But you know what also is good? The Devils are playing tonight after losing yesterday against the Kings in heartbreaking fashion. I mean, Devils after dark. Scotty, he was mad. I was kind of mad. I was really mad about the hit on Dawson Mercer with it was Kopitar literally ran over him. I looked at the replay this morning, no call. And then, of course, hey, you know what? Let's pick on Damon Severson. I mean, it was a penalty, that third penalty, but still, it's like, how does Dawson Mercer just get murdered on the ice and you just don't even blow a whistle? I
Yeah,
I don't
so
know.
they make the same call on the Devils, and so they have to kill the penalty, and obviously we know how that goes for them a good amount of the time. And then all of a sudden Mercer just gets blanked, and there's nothing to show for it for the Devils in terms of a power play or anything. And I'm not even necessarily just gonna come out there and say that that's the reason that they lost, because they were able to tie it up late. Pavel Zacha made a nice shot, but when they got to overtime and looked like complete dog crap, that had nothing to do. I mean, obviously things could shake out differently if there's calls made here and there, score on a power play, but I don't know. I think the Devils kind of got a result they deserved last night. They're all 1-1 on this California road trip, and I think we all would have signed up for 1-1. We'll see how that goes, but
So
I don't
three
know.
out of
I
six, you're
just
thinking.
3 out of 6 points. That'd be nice. The Sharks are probably they had the best start out of the three California teams, but it wouldn't surprise me if they have the bleakest future of the three California teams as of right now. So I don't know. I think the Devils should be able to get a win if they are able to avoid taking penalties like they did yesterday, or maybe get a call or two here or there. Obviously, Brent Burns and Erik Karlsson aren't what they once were, but they can still burn you, and hopefully the Devils are able to keep those guys in line.
Yeah, and if you notice that on the top left-hand corner, backhanded devil sent me a mock-up logo. I'm running with it. NFZ. What I did like about yesterday's game was the response from the New Jersey Devils. They've got beef right now. You got Gearston. You've got sorry, not Dougie Hamilton, but Ryan Graves tonight. You've got a lot of beef. I don't appreciate other players taking liberties on Dawson Mercer. They know he's going to be good one day. They're probably trying to teach him a lesson, the rookie a lesson. But he is so determined to get dirty. And, we talk about the no fun zone. We talk about the grit. The one thing I did like about yesterday's game, moving forward, going, against San Jose, the Devils never really backed down at times. They weren't going to, LA tried everything. Dustin Brown, all their gritty players, they try to throw everybody off. But you know what? Unlike years past, the Devils have beef right now, and they're not going to take any of it. Plus, the penalty kill was much, much better yesterday, or it could be, in all fairness, maybe LA wasn't as good, but they went over 5 up until, that last penalty by Severson, I believe, that they gave up that goal. But I was actually pretty happy with it, because they were very disruptive in what we called the no fun zone, right in front of the goaltender, Mac Black.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. You make some very good points there. They definitely are when they're fully healthy again, which hopefully if everything stays on track, they get there by the time we reach mid-December. All the players that they're bringing back, minus Jack Hughes, they're bigger guys. Dougie Hamilton's a bigger guy. We know the size that a guy like Damon Severson can bring. He's fully back. Obviously, missing a guy like Miles Wood is a big impact in terms of size and toughness. But
Absolutely.
against a team like the Kings, regardless, there were some people so mad at the game yesterday. And I'm thinking to myself, they played the entire game without Dougie Hamilton and Jack Hughes, who are their two best possession players. They're their two best, well, with Nico in that mix, and then even without Nico in the mix, they're their two best offensive players, one on the front, the forward group, and one on the back end. So they played like a team that is missing those two types of players against the Kings team, who's probably relatively even with them in terms of talent on paper. As you just crush that pasta, I just think it's so great.
Yeah.
It looks
I
so
can't
good.
help myself. One day we should just do a podcast just on eating. Maybe we should have a pre podcast where we just eat in front of people. Then we actually do the real podcast. Because I can't stand it when you've got this great food and we got to do a podcast. Maybe we should do it beforehand.
I mean, just keep taking a couple bites here and there while I talk, and that'll bring the Devils what they need because they don't lose when you eat bolognese. That's just a proven fact already.
Yeah. Catfish and bolognese and crab cake. And you, the fans, I don't know how true this is, but they don't run out of food unless you promote it. And Taj Lounge, no catfish. Enzo's, no crab cake. I think the shortage is not going. It's because of you, not the pandemic or anything. Anyway, let's moving on. So we got some comments. YouTube Live. Little Fireboy 87. Graves is leading the team in hits, total on ice, and blocks. He will put a good hit in someone to avenge a bad hit as well. Well, you know what? Good for Ryan Graves. You know why? Because he's using that body. He's a big frame, and this is what the Devils need right now.
Yeah, I mean, we know Ty Smith's two-way projection. He hasn't had the best start to this season, but we all saw what he did last year, and we know what the ceiling a type of player like him has. We know how good Damon Severson is in the offensive zone. He's been a mess in his own zone from time to time, but he'll get blamed for that last game yesterday, even though he was like third on the team in possession. Then, of course, Dougie Hamilton is so much better at offense than anybody else on the Devils' blue line is at anything. But in terms of making an impact in all three zones, it's hard to argue anybody besides Ryan Graves as their most important. And like I said, I know the type of game-changing offensive ability that Dougie Hamilton has. He could score a big goal. He could make a big pass on the power play late in the game. But Ryan Graves in all three zones, it's hard to argue a player on the Devils more important to him. I think of try to find like a comparable for him like of years past. And like someone like Nicholas Hjalmarsson, who played for the Arizona Coyotes for the later years of his career, and obviously the Blackhawks early on, like a guy like that who's, the offense isn't necessarily what it is, but he can make a first pass if he needs to, and then just use his body in the defensive zone and always sound positionally. That's kind of the vibes I get from Ryan Graves. Brandon Carlo on the Boston Bruins. Great example. He can rip a shot if he absolutely needs to. He'll end the season with like 2 or 3 goals, but every goal he scores will look like a top-scoring defenseman scored it. And he could make a great breakout pass or, whatever they need him to do in terms of that, but just always sound positionally, always in the right spot. Hopefully Ryan Graves can keep that up because he's a pleasure to have on the team right now.
Let's talk about goaltending. Did the Devils finally announce the lineups yet? Has it come out? Is it Bernier starting or is Mac Black going on the back-to-back?
I mean, Sam, I think based on how the Devils have gone this season with their lineup projections and all that jazz, that it's never out by the time we do the show. I mean, I'm surprised we know that Hamilton isn't playing, to be honest with you. I'm surprised. I mean, Amanda Stein tweeted that It looks like going on 2 hours ago. So I'm a little surprised that even came out. The fact that they don't announce the goalie, I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to guess who the goalie's going to be tonight. Yesterday was a different story. It's like, is it going to be Bernier? Is it going to be Blackwood? Tonight, I'd be shocked if after Bernier doesn't play a single game for the first month of this, or Blackwood rather doesn't play a game for the entire first month of the season, to trot him out there for the second half of a back-to-back. I mean, maybe they think that that's a good idea, but if I was a betting man, which I am quite often, it would be that Bernier is the guy in net.
Yeah, and I would bet on that as well, especially with Mackenzie Blackwood, his heel. He said in an interview it's about 90%. He's about 85, 90% back. So that's going to take some time, and you don't want to risk injury after just coming back. You don't want Mac Black to shoulder the load, but he looked great last night. He looked rejuvenated.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, he looked rejuvenated. He played the angles great. He was moving side to side great for a big guy. I'm happy with Mac Black right now, and I'm happy with Jonathan Bernier. They got goaltending. They literally have goaltending right now if they keep it at this rate.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, this is one of the greatest goaltending franchises of all time. And so when they weren't getting it for a while, it was like, what are we doing here? I mean, it's like the Chiefs having a bad offense or the Bears having a bad defense. Like, that's just something about them that always has great goaltending. And I'm happy that Blackwood is back. If he was 85, 90% yesterday, according to himself, then I can't wait to see what 100% looks like. Because I thought last night they were not that good in front of him, especially in the later portion of the third period. And Blackwood was he was making saves. He's getting left to right, which, like, you would think if one thing were impacted by a heel injury for a goaltender, it would be the left to right sliding. And he was just he even made saves using his inner side of his torso area, and it would project the puck up. I was just very impressed with what we saw from him yesterday. And then the OTGWG for the Los Angeles Kings. I mean, Iafallo, he made a great shot. NHL forwards standing right alone in front with no one blocking an NHL goalie, they're going to score a fair amount of the time. It doesn't matter who's in net. It could be Brodeur in his prime. Those are going in for, more often than not.
I'm worried about Ty Smith. Because I'm wondering if he came back too soon. Because that wasn't a Ty Smith that I know. That sequence that happened yesterday behind the net. But right now, I think, look, the Devils are not healthy right now. But I think they're playing decently. They still need to work on more consistencies on their special teams. And if you the Devils fan, right now, technically the Devils are in the basement of the Metropolitan Division, but it's a very competitive division right now. If you look at their record, it's not bad. It's not a bad start because it could be a lot worse. At the same time, you're doing it without Jack Hughes, now Dougie Hamilton. Ty Smith was out for a period of time. Now Jaros is retroactive to November 4th. I believe it was a hand injury. Other injuries as well. Miles Wood, MIA, the mystery on that. Jonathan Bernier being out for a few games, and you had to go to your third and fourth string depth chart in the organization to get goaltending. It was nice to see Nico Dawes have a great game, but I don't think the Devils are doing that poorly, and I don't want fans to really think, oh, same old Devils. It's not the same because I actually see the light at the end of the tunnel. Alexander Holtz is now with the team. I wish, and you know what? I wish he can release that cannon tonight. I'd like to see him just be shoot first winger, the sniper that he is, and force teams to respect his shot. Things will come around. Things will definitely come around. And let Dawson Mercer be Dawson Mercer because he's freaking awesome out in the ice.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, the Devils have been a good October team for a couple years now. I mean, how many times have they come out? I had a Facebook memory the other day. It was the 2019 season. They ended up winning or 2018-19 season. So it was like October 2018. They ended up winning the lottery that season. But like they were 7-2-0 after October or whatever it was. They started a little earlier in the month. And I was just like, so they've been historically good in October, but they're just something feels different about this team. I'm not saying they're going to go to the postseason or anything like that. I personally don't think they're going to, just because the Metropolitan Division, like Carolina's better than I thought. The New York Rangers are playing really good hockey, and that's with Panarin like off to a slow start. Like there are just so many teams in the Capitals and Penguins. They still have their veterans. Crosby and Malkin are going to be back, and people are going to be like, "Oh yeah, I remember them." And so it's going to be interesting to see where the Devils go from here. But I agree with you. They've played hard, missing players like Hamilton and Hughes and Wood. Miles Wood's not a superstar, but when you replace him with someone like Geertsen, you're going to see a noticeable difference. There's a reason these guys are NHL everyday players, even though they might not have reached some potential that was laid on them a little too early in their career. So I don't know. I'm content with the way the Devils have played.
I do like the versatility of Geertsen. Reason why you put him on the fourth line, but if the D starts taking 10-minute game misconduct, you just shift them back. Defense is most important in my mind. You remember Dustin Byfuglien, the versatility that he had. Playing that role. And did Brian Boyle ever play that role at one point in his career? Do you know? Fourth line and defense.
I remember Dan Boyle was playing defense. I actually don't remember if Brian ever spent significant time. The other one, there's Brent Burns. Brent Burns did both along with Byfuglien as well. Yeah.
And that's not easy to do. Good friend of the podcast, Rebecca Moose Morse, plays for now the PHF, the Premier Hockey Federation. Used to be the NWHL, which I used to call it. And she was a converted defenseman to forward just to get playing time. And it is an adjustment. It's not easy to do. That's why I respect players that can play on both ends, both the blue line and at forward, because it's a totally different mindset. It's a totally different position. Defenseman, if you're going from a forward to playing defense, you got to worry where you are in relations to your goaltender, so your goaltender can actually see the shots coming. The other way around is, you're so used to hanging around the blue line, but as a forward, you have to be aggressive with the forecheck. Knowing when to come back and having chemistry with a completely different set of line mates versus a pairing, that kind of thing. I have respect for players like that, and it's not easy to do, but I love that coaches do that because it makes well-rounded players, and in game situations, especially down the stretch or in the playoffs, you want to have that versatility.
Absolutely. So, it would impress me if a guy could play center and wing or both sides of the wing like that. Even that's not easy to do. So to switch from, at least wing, center, and right wing, like either wing and center, all of their objectives are to be ahead of the play and be involved in offense. Where if you can switch off between D and forward, it certainly is impressive. You brought up the Riveters earlier, or you brought up the PHF earlier. And, I give a special shout out to the Metropolitan Riveters. First win of the season. Let's go.
Yeah. Over the Connecticut Well. I was there tonight or this afternoon at Menon Arena, my old stomping grounds. It was fun. I paid $30 for my ticket, and it was really weird for me because the last time I was at Menon Arena was probably about 15, 20 years ago for a high school hockey game, and it was $5. So it was a little weird. I'm like, wow, is that inflation? And then I realized I'm actually going to a professional hockey game. It was fun. It was good atmosphere, decent crowd as things are opening up. And let me tell you something. It was on ESPN Plus. I was looking at what was going on, and one thing I noticed, and this is Sorry, I lost my train of thought. But one thing I did notice, at the game, these players can get very chippy. And I was actually watching behind the play stuff. It's awesome. I mean, this is my soap opera and, drama. If you haven't watched it yet, ESPN Plus was televising the game. Actually, really, I shouldn't even say that, streaming the game on the app. Watch it, because a lot of the behind the play stuff you see, it's awesome. I like the league. I like the play.
That's awesome. I like the league too, and they keep expanding. It seems like every other year. It started with the OG4. I believe it's the Connecticut Whale, Buffalo Buttes. They were the New York Riveters, and now they're the Metropolitan Riveters. Is that correct? And then, of course, the Boston Pride.
Yes. Yep.
They all expanded to
Yep.
the Minnesota Whitecaps, and then, of course, the Toronto Six with most recently. So, it'd be cool to see them get a team out here in the Midwest. I don't know if I'll ever be able to just change my allegiance from the Riveters, but if Chicago or St. Louis or Detroit could get a team, that'd be pretty cool. I would certainly make my way over there. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. Also, this is the Let's Go Devils podcast. I'm Sam Wu here with Vinny Parisi. We're just about to wrap it up of Game Day Live. But Patty, and again, this is going to be part of our podcast while we're here at Pasta Grill at Enzo's in Hackettstown. Patty asked, how can we watch them play tonight on Verizon Fios? I think what we're going to have to start doing, Vinny, is as distribution of Devils content starts to become more fragmented, meaning it's going to be all over the place in the future, we're going to have to tell people where to find to watch the games, because I'm even confused. Because last night, I'm a professional streamer. I couldn't even figure out how to get logged into the Disney Plus account to put it on my TV. It took me like an hour and 45 minutes to do. So we're going to have to start educating, doing fun things, where to actually watch the Devils, because it's no longer just on the tube, whether it's cable or open air. It's all over the place now.
Yeah, you're certainly not just turning on your TV and getting the Devils like you once did most of the time. I know over in New Jersey it's on MSG Plus on pretty much every night, but yeah, tonight on ESPN Plus you're going to have the option between either that broadcast or the San Jose Sharks broadcast, who I'm actually a big fan of. I don't know if you ever checked out Randy Hahn and the crew doing a Sharks game. It's always interesting, but we definitely should look into that. I know they're going to be on Hulu against the Florida Panthers on Tuesday. That should be interesting as well.
Yeah, no, we're going to have to figure this thing out, because right now, and this is on the league, our fans are not stupid, but you want to make access to content like live game content the easiest barrier to entry. It should be just a push of a button, and that's it. Not me trying to sign up, $7.99 here, $20 here. I just want it on my screen, and I just want to push a button. That's all.
Yep.
That's all. I'm not asking for much. If you want to charge me a little bit more just to make it easier, or so be it. I don't look. I don't. I just want to get my team, and I think a lot of fans are thinking like that. I want to go to Pasta Grill and watch my team on the flat screen. While I'm having here Ramona Rice. She doesn't like it when I'm eating right in front of her this nice secret sauce bolognese that brings victory to the New Jersey Devils. And we'll see Devils After Dark tonight if that really happens. But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I mean, if they win, you have to be selective on when you eat it. You have to be strategic. Like when they need a big win, or you can't just use those powers for evil. You gotta be smart with it.
Yeah. Also, I want to thank everybody last night and now tonight for staying up and watching our live podcast as the Devils complete their California trip. I'd like to thank the fine folks at Enzo's, Dino, staff, everybody. They always treat me like a VIP, and everybody else like a VIP. remember, and look, I got my camera here. This is proof. If you look in the back, I'm going to move the camera. They have Devils jerseys up, hockey sticks, autographs up. Why? Because they're Devils fans. And so when we travel on the road, Vinny, we go where the Devils fans are, and also next week, or not next week, but the week after, the Florida trip, we're going to be outside of Amalie Arena at Thunder Alley to do a live Devils podcast, Game Day Live. Nick Villano and I will be on site. So also thank you, Jason, Penn State won. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that, but I hate to say it, but the season's over for me.
That's tough.
I'm just kidding around. You know what? If the Penn State loses one game, it's like I've already moved on. it's horrible.
No.
I'm that cool.
I thought of you though, because I like Illinois. I obviously root for Illinois. And when they were playing Penn State, I was like, oh, I kind of want Illinois to win, but I want Sam Wu to be happy and them have a chance to go to the playoff, because we all know the Big Ten is tired of seeing Ohio State just go every year and then 9 overtimes, whatever. Sorry, guys.
It's all right. All right, Vinny. Just one more thing. Patty says, damn, makes me so mad that I can't watch them. Exactly. Tell me how and how much. Exactly. Just make it simple. Make it simple. And before we go, Vinny, what are your predictions for tonight?
I got another close one. I'm not thinking as tight of a game as it was yesterday against the Kings, so I'll go 4-3 Devils.
4-3 Devils. Wow. I think it's going to be. I'm going to go 6-5 Devils in overtime.
Okay. So you're kind of on the same boat as me. You think it's going to be high score?
Yeah. But I could be wrong. The NFZ could be in place, and then if the Sharks go 0-7, it could be 6-0 Devils. Here's hoping.
Yeah,
right?
That's true. I mean, yesterday on the show we said it would be low scoring, and it was. And so that just goes to show the Devils may be able to adapt to either style of play, but we'll see.
Yep. Ramona Rice says, let's go Devils. Patty says, hey, this is Devils land. Only care if they win. Absolutely. All right. I got to finish my food. I got to get out of here. I think I'm going to eat a lot during the game. And check us out, Devils After Dark. Scotty and I will recap the game that was. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to Pasta Grill by Enzo's and Hackestown. Thank you, Dino and their staff. Thank you, Vinny. Thank you, everybody watching. Till next time, this is Game Day Live. Let's go, Devils.